Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to Vanzi channel. According to yesterday's voting results, today I will share 35 Gamefusion game lists on Android played on Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processors. You are free to follow the driver or DXVK settings that I provide in the list or use your own. For more stable DXVK usage, use version 1.103. Okay guys, no more talking. Let's begin. First, Watch Dogs 2. Some advanced settings are needed to smooth the FPS of this game, such as using Proton 9.0, DXVK 1.10.3, and Adreno 762.10 driver. 2. Assassin's Creed Unity. The gameplay in the following video uses 600p resolution and turnip R6 with DXVK 2.3.1 in Gamefusion, using Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. Next, Watch Dogs. The game Watch Dogs also runs quite stable, but maybe you have better settings than this. In the following gameplay using turnip driver R8 and Proton 9. 4. Resident Evil 2 Remake. Resident Evil 2 Remake game also runs very well. Sometimes you will find FPS drops in some locations. Please use low graphics settings. 5. Final Fantasy VII Remake. Use the Vortex driver to play this game on Gamefusion so that the FPS obtained can be stable like this on your Snapdragon 8 Gen 2. 6. Life is Strange. Life is Strange is an episodic game. This game can run at 30 frames per second using a Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. Use the setting suggestions below. 7. NieR Automata. Now you can play this cool game with a fairly stable and playable FPS for you to play on this processor. You may still experience FPS drops in some locations. 8. Grid Autosport. Grid Autosport is a fairly realistic racing game, and of course this game is one that you can play very smoothly on this processor. 9. Onimusha Warlords. With a performance that reaches 60 frames per second, this game is included in the recommendations that you must play on this Gamefusion emulator. 10. Resident Evil 4 Ultimate HD Edition. Re4 HD Edition is a Resident Evil 4 project whose graphic quality is more sharpened and clearer. This game can certainly run quite well on this processor. 11. Monster Hunter Rise. This game is still not running stably on the Gamefusion emulator. You can use the settings that you think are better. 12. Warrior Abyss. Use Proton 9 and the DXVK driver suggestions below for you to apply in your Gamefusion settings to be able to play this game. 13. Dishonored Definitive Edition. Set in the plague-ravaged city of Dunwall, Dishonored follows the story of Corvo Attano, the last bodyguard to Empress Jessamine Caldwin. 14. Call of Duty Black Ops 2. This Black Ops 2 game is played directly in the Cemu emulator using Gamefusion. The FPS obtained is very bad. 15. Dark Souls 3. Dark Souls 3 has a significant development when played on Gamefusion. Use the recommended settings below to play smoothly. 16. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 is able to play this game stably and playable on Gamefusion. You can try the settings below to improve the performance. 17. Divinity Original Sins 2. Use Proton 9 and DXVK as suggested below to be able to play this game more stable. Also use Turnip R8 driver to reduce graphic bugs. Next, Transformers Devastation. This Transformers game can be played on Gamefusion now. You may need settings other than those shown below to run it. 19. Resident Evil Village. Unlike the previous list, this game is still far from playable. Later we will wait for a better update from Gamefusion to play this game better. 20. Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. This COD Advanced Warfare game can be played on Gamefusion using your Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. Use the recommended driver in DXVK. Next, Assassin's Creed Origins. This game is not yet optimal for you to play on Gamefusion. However, you can use the settings below to run it. 22. Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 is one of the best open-world games of the franchise. You can play this game with better graphics on Gamefusion now using this processor. Next, Far Cry 4. The following gameplay was played using Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 with settings that are not enough to improve the performance of this game. Please use your own settings. Next, Mortal Kombat XL. You can play Mortal Kombat XL quite smoothly on Gamefusion now using this Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. 25. Green Hell. This Green Hell game doesn't work well on Gamefusion using this processor. If you have better settings than this, let us know in the comment. Next, Grounded. Unlike before, this game is actually worse when run on Gamefusion. Some of the settings below may be wrong. Please use your own settings. Next, Baldur's Gate 3. This game can be run with frames per second above 30. Sometimes you will experience frames per second drop in some places in this game. You can use the setting below to run it. 28. Cyberpunk 2077. This is one of the most anticipated games to play smoothly on Gamefusion emulator. Unfortunately, until now, the game is still not optimized. Next, A Plague Tale: Innocent. By using 720p HD resolution and the recommended driver settings below, you can play this best game on Gamefusion now using this processor. Next, Jump Force. Jump Force game is also one of the heavy games to play on Gamefusion. Make sure to lower the graphics and textures in the game. 31. Sekiro: Shadow Die Twice's. Sekiro is currently still not good enough to be played on mid-range. If you want to play it stably, please root your phone and use advanced settings. Next, Assassin's Creed 4: Black Flag. To get more optimal FPS, please use DXVK 1.10.3 and turn up Mesa Driver and lower the graphics in Gamefusion or in-game. Next, Ultimate Marvel vs. Capcom 3. The game can run very smoothly on almost all devices. Use the driver that you think is better than this. 34. The Witcher 3. One of the most popular open-world games can certainly be played very smoothly on your device. Some heavy games, like The Witcher, are not arbitrary to set it, so use your own settings. Final list. GTA 5. GTA 5 is a pretty stable game now for you to play on mid-range to high-end devices. In Gamefusion, this game has a performance that is not much different from other PC emulators for Android. Those are some lists of PC games that you can play on Gamehub or Gamefusion for Android using Snapdragon 8 Gen 2 processor. I suggest you to use fan cooler when playing these games on Gamefusion or Winlator. If you don't have cooler, please play it under AC or fan. Okay, if you want to add games other than this list, please comment. Okay, if you find this video useful for you, don't forget to share with your friends, and also like this video and subscribe to Vanzi channel. Okay guys, see you.